Greetings everyone. This is a brief tutorial here to help you get started on your digital map projects. This is essentially what we did the other day in the computer lab. I just wanted to give you a tutorial that you can access at your leisure here. What I'm going to do here is just show you how to upload images, how to hyperlink to sites and to documents, and generally get you started on putting your map together. This tutorial won't have the detail, of course, that your projects will provide, but it should nonetheless help those of you who've not yet started, or those of you who are still having trouble envisioning what we're doing here. So let's get started then. Remember that all the information you need to do the project is available under Module 11. So let's go to the Modules tab on Canvas here and scroll down to Module 11. On Module 11 you'll find of course the sign-in sheets and the link to the story map. Most importantly, you'll find the instructions for the assignment, right? So make sure that you're familiar with those. As I had said before, when you're dividing the tasks among your the responsibilities among your group members, it's a good idea to have someone who's in charge of quality control, someone who makes sure that you are following the instructions. So keep in mind that the instructions are here. Be familiar with those instructions. Also, here is the link to the story map website, so let's click on that so we can get started. Make a story map now. You click here and then it will ask you for your Google ID, unless you've already started working on it like I have. Then I think we bypass that. And you can just click on whatever map you've been working on or create a new one, and then click map here. Let's call it something. Let's call it history 1301 practice. This is just what you're going to use to keep it in your files. It's not the actual title that appears on the story map. But let's go ahead and give it a title and then create. Now we're starting here. This first page, this is the first slide, is sort of your your title slide. So let's get started. We're not going to put any location in at this slide, since this is just your introductory title slide. But you will give a name to the project. I'm going to just do some cutting and pasting here to make this process go quicker. I'm going to call this General Winfield Scott's Long Strange Trip. Remember the other day we had gone over how to upload an image. Just grab images off of Google. Make sure they're not too big. Don't take anything that's 1,000 by 1,000 or something like that. Keep it about 500 by 500. I'm going to upload an image that I have already chosen and saved here to a file. That might be an easy way to do this for yourselves as well. Just choose some images before you get started, so you have them all in one location. Captions, use captions to talk about the particular image. This is a photo of Winfield Scott. Just general information to give me more information about the photos. Now here, remember, the requirement for student created text, right? It goes in these text box. We don't need just 600 words for each slide. You want to spread your 600 words throughout the whole project, right? So you're essentially just writing a short essay and you're filling up these text boxes with that. Again, I wrote some text here that I'm just going to cut and paste. Okay, just to get things started, right? This is where you're just introducing your topic. Okay, now we've done enough here to set up our title page. Now let's click on to the first slide. When you get to the first slide, see the number 1 there, the first slide of your project, this is when we start entering addresses. And let's see, I was going to start this in Veracruz, Mexico. So I can just enter the city of Veracruz. There it is. And that's where I'll start my map project. Now, there was a Battle of Veracruz, and so I am calling this slide Battle of Veracruz. I have a little bit of text here that I'm going to include because I'm starting to tell my story now about General Winfield Scott. I should also upload an image. Again, I'm going to upload an image of Veracruz that I've saved. All right, I'm going to upload that, provide a little bit of information about Veracruz, blah, blah, blah. You can fill in the detail when you do your projects. All right, so now I have a spot where I'm starting my journey. I have an image of Veracruz. I have some text here, my student created text. Very well, now I'm going to move to the next slide, slide number 2. Slide number 2, I am going to jump over to the Alamo now. General Winfield Scott wasn't in the Alamo, Texas, but I'm going to move over to the Alamo just the same. I'll entitle this slide the Alamo. I have some text. This serves as your narrative, right? I'm continuing on with my narrative as I get to the second site on my story map. I have an image of the Alamo that I want to upload here. Okay, upload. Now, one other thing that I want to do here is let's practice hyperlinking. Okay, so I'm going to I have an image of the Alamo. I'm going to give a caption here, the Alamo. All right, but here in my narrative text, I'm also going to hyperlink to a YouTube video relating to the Alamo. So I'm just going to highlight that phrase there, the Alamo. I'm going to click on the link here, insert link. Remember to keep this selected as it is because you want it to open up into a new window. I happen to already cut and paste the address of this link, but I'm going to take it now and paste it there. I'm going to insert link. Okay, now I have a hyperlink to the Alamo. It's actually a YouTube video. All right, so that's my second stop on my slide, on my journey here, my story map. The next slide is I'm going to entitle The Trail of Tears. Now, of course, you see these are are jumping all over the place, but I'm just taking names from places that are associated with some of your projects and your topics. All right, so this one is going to, Trail of Tears is going to a link to a place in Oklahoma. I'm going to upload another image, this time from Oklahoma. There we go, I uploaded the image. I am again going to provide a caption there on what the image is about. Trail of Tears, I don't know, monument. And again, I have a little bit of text that I'm going to continue on with here. This is your 600 words of required text. All right. Now let's move on to the next slide. The next slide, I'm going to jump over to Buffalo, New York. This is a reference to those of you who are working on the Erie Canal project, right? You're going to be visiting Buffalo for sure. Okay, also I have some Buffalo related text here that I wanted to add. Okay. And now one more thing about hyperlinking or citing. Remember that we have to. It's required here that we include a reference to some primary sources, and I want those references to be not only in your annotated bibliographies, but also in the actual story map. So that means you're going to either have to hyperlink to a document, or you're going to have to upload an image of a document. By the way, remember that again, when you're looking for the primary documents, you're going to want to go back to the instructions, and you're going to want to search for your primary sources in some of these recommended sites here. Okay, and when you do that, when you find your documents in these sites, you're going to want to provide a credit here for the image. Let's say that we have an image. I'm going to upload an image of this image of the Declaration of Independence that we had used before in the earlier example. I have saved a link to that, this is a link, but I'm going to just use it as a reference here, or a credit. I'm going to provide a credit for the image that is the actual document. So make sure that you do that so I know where you got your document from. Make sure that it's a legitimate primary source document. Okay, so now we've done that. We've got another image here in Buffalo, a little bit more text, and with that I think that that will be sufficient here for the example. So let's go and see what we came up with. All right, we can click on preview. Again, you can always go back and forth from preview to edit as you work on this project. But let's go see what we've got. We're starting out with General Winfield Scott's Long Strange Trip. This is the again the home page, or the introductory slide. Let's start exploring. Go forward. We see that we're starting off in Veracruz. We've got an image. We've got some general text. This is where the narrative text starts. A little caption there for your picture. Let's move on to the next slide. We jump over to Alamo. The Alamo. Again, in your projects, right? This makes sense. It doesn't make sense here that General Winfield Scott is going from Veracruz to the Alamo, but again, it's just for the sake of giving you an example. So here we have the Alamo. Remember that we had hyperlinked here to this phrase, the Alamo. Let's see if that worked. That should take us to a YouTube video.
What's your name? I can't remember.
Where you from?
I can't remember.
Did you remember anything?
I remember the Alamo.
I don't know if anybody remembers Pee Wee Herman, but I certainly used to enjoy him. Okay, let's move on to the next slide then. Next slide, we go to Oklahoma here. We've got a slide on the Trail of Tears. Okay, we're moving along in our story map. Our final stop is going to be in Buffalo. Here I have featured a document here, an image of a document, and provided the credit as to where this document came from, right? Okay, so with that, I hope that this helps you move forward with your project. Remember, always refer back to the instructions. Make sure that you're doing everything that's required. Make sure that your group puts together that process paper that says who's doing what, and etc. Make sure you include the annotated bibliography. If you need to use a computer, you can always use computers down at LEAC 104 in the history lab down there. If you have problems with getting your computer to work at home or anything like that. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and we will see you shortly.